Hello, welcome to Grunge Granny. In this video, we're going to be talking about intuitive art. I wanted to show my process for intuitive art, but I also wanted to show me using the onion skin journal for intuitive art. I'm really fond of layering materials, watercolor, pencil, pen, ink, and I wanted to show how this journal has held up with a lot of different media. I also got really drawn to intuitive art because it doesn't have to be good. I'm not really sure what qualifies as good art. I kind of feel like all art that is done with passion behind it, or if it evokes a feeling or a mood, that qualifies it as good art. But I don't know if other people agree with me on that or not, and I'm just not sure how people really qualify good art. I wanted to do intuitive art because it doesn't have to have a plan. You don't have to know what you're drawing before you do it. You don't have to see in your head how it's going to look. All you have to do is just start and then see what medium feels right. So for example, with this one, I started out with some sketching supplies, and then I just really wanted to watercolor. And then after watercolor, I added some Prismacolor. Then after Prismacolor, I added some Acrylograph pen, which is a fine-tipped paint pen. Then after that, I started adding pen ink because I just wanted more details. You don't have to be good at drawing whatever you started drawing. I tried to draw a person. At the time, I was not as good at drawing people, but I have since started a 100 people project, so I'm improving. But this one just didn't turn out very good, but it didn't matter because what mattered was playing with the mediums and the paper and letting them interact the way that they wanted to. While I was editing this video, I laughed way too hard because there was this conversation that happened between myself and my 8-year-old. So I kept it in the video. Originally I was going to remove it and edit it out of the video, but then I decided not to because interruptions are a part of mom life, even if you're recording. I'm trying to talk quieter right now because she's still asleep and it's really early. And that's just a part of life. And trying to work on just doing some intuitive art while my daughter was home meant getting into a discussion about something she was reading in a book, and I thought it was just really funny. I also want to make a point to not edit real life out of videos. I started doing it at first, and I realized that one of my favorite things in other videos is when those things aren't edited out. When we do see real life, and we see someone's messy room, or someone comes in with the kids, or someone interrupts, or a kid interrupts, or you just have those moments of saying the wrong thing because you can't think of the right word, and then later you come in and edit with like an asterisk to say, oh, this is what the correct word was. I don't want to feel pressured to portray a life that I don't live. So there's going to be parts of my videos where there's just going to be a bit of reality. Like right now, my bed is not made. It is not made because my cat's sleeping on it and he looks so cute. I don't even think he's visible. Oh wait, a little bit. I love him. So yeah, I'm not gonna make my bed because I don't want to move my cat. Because I'm that kind of person. But other than that, I think that's all I want to say for this intro. Oh yeah, my name is Ren, and this is Grunge Granny. I like to be creative in absolutely any way that I can. I switch around with different mediums a lot, and I have a shop where I sell some of the stuff to try and provide for my family in some way. And I just love making things. And I see it as my way of healing and creating magic. Alright, let's get started.
And here we are outside again. There's a lot of birds today, so I think that kind of creates some nice ambiance. I'm not sure. I'm hoping it doesn't get obnoxious because they are talkative. It's okay, because I am too. I started this drawing out with a purple color erase Prismacolor. I like using these because a lot of the time you can just go over with paint and it seems to blend in pretty well, especially depending on what you're drawing. I really want to get the pink ones because I think that will be better with skin tones. That way if you're using watercolor or markers, then you can lay over without really erasing it or needing to erase it, but we'll see. As you can tell, I am not good at drawing people, or at least I definitely wasn't when I first recorded this. I had the idea of a side profile of a face and a woman in like a very fancy gown, and it didn't really turn out like that, or maybe it did in a more abstract way. Now for this part, I did cut out a lot of the constant dipping back into water and dipping back into paint, but I wanted to keep a lot of it in because I wanted to show just how wet this page got and how much water this paper held. If I saw that the paper was getting kind of stressed, I did let it sit and dry for a second and just move to another part of the picture. And that's partially why I start focusing on kind of sides of the page. Either I focused on the top, or I focused on the bottom, or I focused on the background, so I could allow whatever I had been working on to dry for a little bit. I've been noticing myself gravitate toward the same kind of abstract images of people on Instagram, which I think might be why that was what I ended up drawing. I know that I might not have been intending it to be more abstract. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't think that I was intending on anything, really. I think that I just wanted certain shapes, and that's what happened. Which is why I suggest that people do this, and I think it's a really good tip for art block even. If you don't know what to draw, then don't worry about drawing anything. Just sit down and start doing some shapes and build off those shapes and see what happens. Once I saw the shape of what I had on the paper, that's when I decided to go ahead and add other media. And of course I went to watercolor because it's one of my absolute favorites. I love it so much because you can layer on itself or you can layer other things on it, and it seems like almost every other medium looks pretty on top of watercolor, so it's one of my favorite things to just lay down as a base. A friend of mine gave me this landscape color palette of the Prismacolors, and I didn't even realize until later that they happen to also be the same exact colors of the jewel tones and the acrylographs, so they match perfectly. If you ever wanted to lay those on each other, they look really, really good. They just happen to match. I wondered if when the acrylographs came out with the jewel tones, if they had done that, if they had matched the color palette of the landscape set, of the Prismacolor set, since it's been around for so long. And I really enjoy using them together because I think that if you add the Prismacolor on top of the watercolor paper, oh, excuse my horrible transition, then adding the acrylographs on top of it just kind of makes it pop. You don't have to go over the entire Prismacolor, but it just really adds more texture to it and another layer. It's more like layers of opacity, I suppose. Also, I totally started out organizing these so that I would have them in an order and they would look all tidy, and even though they do not stay like that, I thought it was satisfying to see, so I kept it in. I did do a lot of the colored pencil bits off screen just because I myself was getting bored as I filled it in and thought, well, if I'm getting bored doing this, then I don't think anybody else is going to want to see it. But I also just really wanted it on there because it was already making things look more vibrant. So I needed to keep going.
It says if anyone disturbs the tone of the girl, there will be bad luck, illness, or even death. There will be cursed.
Oh, for sure.
That's kind of scary.
Well, you better not be messing with any tombs.
It's just saying in my book.
I know, that's what I mean though, is that like people shouldn't be messing with them. You gotta respect the dead.
Never just been like tourists. Oh, it says it only happens in movies someone has. But I don't believe that much because like if people make movies, they have to get an idea from somewhere.
I think they got an idea from the lore.
What's that?
Like where those stories came from.
But people can base it off of real things too.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of. That one that was my favorite game. It was King Tut. His real name is really long.
Oh yeah. I think Tutankhamun?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Because it has facts. It says he was buried with Grandma, you don't mess with Toon.
I know, just respect the dead. Just leave them alone. They're already dead. Humans don't need to be going around trying to do whatever with them.
I think it's because they know that things are inside the tubes that are worth a lot of money.
I know. Well, that's even more, that's awful, because it's like, then they're just like digging up dead people to try and, you know, find riches or whatever.
Well, they learned their lesson by dying.
And there you go. That's some harsh 8-year-old justice, I suppose. I wanted to keep that in just because the way she talks about things is such a hoot to me. She's just really direct and blunt. She says the absolute first thing that comes to mind, and she goes with it. And she's also really good at changing her mind while talking about a thing, and I love that too. And I feel like in parenting, we get a lot of our lessons from our kids, just watching the way they ruthlessly go for an idea or say a thing. It can be both good and bad, you know. I have to admit, though, I think that it was getting pregnant and having a kid that kind of really forced me to look at myself in a very real way, especially seeing her imitate me and copy what I was doing. I could no longer allow certain behaviors to continue because I would see her doing the same thing. And when it comes to my own sense of worthiness or unworthiness or the ways that I view value, then I have to be able to embody what I want to teach her. And ooh, if that isn't a lesson. And with that, I mean, that's actually why I went ahead to make this video. I didn't want to work on something this long, record it this long, and then decide, oh wait, no, I don't like the way this art turned out, so I'm not going to post it, because everything is transitionary, and even if it doesn't look, I don't know, realistic or what, it doesn't mean I don't like it. And if I want my daughter to enjoy the art that she makes for fun just because she liked those mediums and just because she felt like those shapes needed to exist on a page somewhere, well then I want her to feel comfortable in going for it. And maybe we don't have enough role models that do that, or maybe we don't have enough sources of inspiration for that. I feel like that a lot whenever I get on YouTube and I watch other people's videos and they'll talk about art school, or they'll talk about how they've been a professional artist for so long. And I've not done either of those things, but I've always made stuff. I've always drawn. And it doesn't mean that I'm especially good at it, but it doesn't mean I'm bad at it either. I kind of have an obsession with textures and detail, which is why I've been getting a lot more into mixed media and textile art, which I'll be showing on this channel eventually. I also mentioned that I put myself on a 100 people drawing challenge. I'm trying to draw 100 people, and I'm trying to be quick with them so I can get the form down really quickly, so I can get better at proportions. And I think I'm going to record a few of them and then record more near the end, so I can show an improvement. And I can already see improvement, which makes me really excited. This is the finished product. Eventually I'm going to do a little wavy wave just because I want to show off this metallic jelly roll pen that I got. Look at that shine! Look at it go! Oh, it's so pretty. I don't mean the entire artwork, but just watching the shiny parts come in and out. I really did like all of the textures and layers. The paper never once bled through, and I was really stoked when it was done. If you like this video, I hope that you'll like it and you'll subscribe and come back for more. Thank you.